All right, back to Nathan. The cat jumped on the keyboard. So CPA, go. Sorry.
Yeah. So look, what I started a conversation with is, what are you currently paying on your other channels to acquire customers? And I'll get a variety of answers. One is, well, Nathan, we don't do any paid acquisition. I'm going to say, you're not a good fit for my show, right? Because I need to know what number I have to beat for you to sign a 12-month contract with me, right? Otherwise, there's no point in running a one-episode test, right? It's stupid. So that's one answer, right? The second is, Nathan, they give me an answer. I'm making this up. We pay $100. I'm going to say, great. Let me give me about a week to chat with a cohort of my audience, and I'm going to try and predict if I think, how many customers I think I can get you for under $100.
Yeah.
And what I then do is I have a minimum. All right, now I will share this with you, okay? Because you can't figure out how much I make if I just share this number, right? I have a minimum of a 3-month sponsorship, right, where they're paying $15,000 per month. Now, if you guys are listening to this later on, this may have increased or even doubled because the show's growing fast. So you can't use this against me if your sponsor's listening right now, right?
Exactly.
But today, that's what my minimum is, $45,000. So if I take 100 divided into $45,000, I know I have to drive them. What is that? 4,500 customers.
Correct.
Is that right? For them to make that spend? No, 450 customers.
450 customers, yes.
Yeah. For them to make that spend worth it. If I don't think I can drive them that many customers, I won't even do the test.
All right.
So that's how I work.
Okay. So there's a lot here. There's a lot. Number one comes down to one thing in all businesses, CPA, cost per acquisition, what it costs me to acquire a client. I had a client once in the plastic surgery space, and they were selling a product, which is different than the surgery they were doing. And I kept going, your product's $40 or whatever. What is your cost per acquisition? What are you comfortable with? They're like, cost per acquisition is not important. I just hung up the phone. It was a big client too, and could have been a lot of money. But the fact that they couldn't get it is just showed the incongruency, and they were just wrong, right? So with that being said, I get it. But here's what's tricky though about. I want to kind of not punch a hole, but challenge a drop. If I listen to HostGator and I Google it, it's going to come in as an organic lead. And how do they track that acquisition back to you?
Well, so if you listen to my show, you're going to see something very specific that I do, and I can tell you it right now, but you'll miss out on some of the nuance. So guys, I just Google after this or on iTunes, just search my name or the top entrepreneurs and listen to what I do. Tom, in a nutshell, when I do a sponsorship for one of my current, sponsors, let's say I'm making this up. Let's say it is Slack, right? Everybody knows Slack. Right. So when I mention Slack as a sponsor, they're just going to go Google Slack and sign up. So how do I make sure I get credit for that? I'll say something like this. Hey guys, I've been so frustrated. I'm buying so many companies like thetopinbox.com and other B2B SaaS companies. My team is remote. I couldn't figure out how to clearly communicate with everybody in real time. So I just found this brand new tool. It helps me keep my remote team connected. If you want to see the tool, go to nathanlatka.com/remote.
So native advertising in a way, right?
Well, I never mentioned Slack.
I love it. Okay. So
what happens is people are not wondering what's Slack. They're wondering what tool is Nathan using. And that is way more powerful to my audience than just mentioning the word Slack.
Got it. So like a non-branded plug, they drive to it, and then they can download to your website, easily tracking the code. That's easy. Okay, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Right? All right. Now, in terms of podcasting, okay, now, have you ever, and this is going to be a pretty poignant question, have you ever charged for guests to be on the show?
Why do you always hedge your tough questions? You should stop doing that.
Okay, I'm just going to ask you, were you ever paid for play at any point?
You cannot pay for play with me, but I will tell you this. Guests have paid to come on. So let me tell you how I manage that.
Yeah.
When somebody reaches out and says, Nathan, I want to be on your show, especially now because we have a huge wait list. And look, when you look at all my guests, I've had over 800. Yeah. Altogether, they raised over $10.3 billion with the B dollars. Their revenues added together are over $2 billion monthly, right? Or sorry, annually. So I've had amazing guests on and also startup folks. So I get a lot of inbound requests. I started just replying with this email. Hey, Sue, thanks for sending me your client as a potential guest. Unfortunately, we have a huge waiting line. And in order for me to have my research team analyze if your guest is a good fit for my show, there's a $500 application fee.
And then
I say, do you want to move forward?
Okay.
And they'll say, well, what happens with the 500? What if your research team says no? And I say, then we refund the 500. But if my research team says yes, we keep the 500.
Love it.
So that's how I maintain quality, but still allow people to pay me to play.
Got it. Now, FTC wise, do you have to report that during your spiel, or because of that you're covered?
What do you mean?
With FTC, because I know you might have to say branded content or some other bullshit. Since they're paying for a research fee, you don't have to put it as sponsored or branded content, correct?
Well, I mean, when somebody applies to be on the Inc. 5000,
they got to pay,
right? Yeah, they pay, right? Does Inc. put a disclaimer at the bottom of every listing on Inc.?
I love it. I fucking love you. Okay, so you got a few minutes. So I'm going to ask some direct questions. Are you a millionaire net worth?
Yes.
Multi?
Yes.
Married?
No.
Straight or gay?
This is a question I always wonder why people ask, because when I Google my name, it says Nathan Latka. Google auto-fills it. They go net worth. They go podcast, and it says, is Nathan Latka gay? And Tom, here's what I'll tell you. Because I'm a smart, I'm like, there's something happening here. I'm a smart business guy. Gays love me. I mean, I have a beautiful comb over. I have a great jawline.
Yeah.
I have a great body. Gays love me.
Yeah.
Cougars love me too.
Yeah.
Women, they love me, right? I lose leverage. If I come out and said, I'm straight, then the gays don't like me. If I say I'm gay, I lose my cougars and my sponsorship revenue cuts in half. So if you can strategically convince me to tell you if I'm gay or straight, I will tell you, but I bet you will not be able to make a rational agreement for that case.
I love it. All right. So here's the other part, and this is, this firsthand.
You're not even going to challenge me on that? You're going to roll over like a dog?
No, I'm okay. I'm okay with it, because to be honest with you, at the end of the day, if you were gay or you were straight, it doesn't make me any more or less money, right? So therefore, I'm okay with it, right? So,
well, by the way, I think this episode will do very well, because I'm probably not like most people you have on. I think it's probably going to be one of your best shows.
How about this? Will you distribute on your social channels?
I will look at how it comes out, and I will see what happens. And depending on how much traffic you get for it organically, I will make a decision at that time if I share it.
I will do that, and I'm going to put a commitment to boost. I'll put 1,000 on it. So I'm going to put a commitment to boost it, not 5-hour bullshit. I'm going to put a commitment to boost it for real. Because I get the traffic anyway, and then worst case, you get the exposure, I get the traffic, and I'm still hopefully on the holiday card list. And then if you share it, then we're in the money. All right. So, because in the interest of time, a few more questions, and then we'll wrap. With podcasts, right? If I called you up for a consultation, you'd probably charge me like between a few thousand an hour. But for a podcast, I'm nailing down guests left and right. Nathan Chen sent something in. This guy, John Hamlin, is supposed like a billionaire. He's coming on. I got this mobster used to make $5 million a week. I'll send that to you for the Colombo crime family. Now he's a minister. He's hard to get to. When you say podcast, people, it's like you have a 13-inch dick. Like people just open the doors for you. Why?
Because they don't understand what it means. Like there are people that have podcasts that get like 1 download per episode, which you don't waste time with. So like the thing is, people just think they want to be on a podcast. They don't understand why. And so for smart business people that value their time, they'll ask questions like, how many listens or downloads per episode do you get? That's the real question, right?
True.
And that's how you decide what to go on. So you're right. I mean, use it to your advantage. You use your fake 13-inch dick to your advantage.
Love it. Now I have charged for some and some I haven't. I'm not going to charge you, obviously, right?
But you paid me to come on.
Exactly. Well, with boosting, right? So with that being said, Nathan, I might start charging, because here's the thing. I finally got on iTunes and Google Play, and I'm an SEO guy by background, right? So I'm able to put your website on the description of my RSS feed, and you get a backlink from iTunes and from Google. Bro, fuck that. You got to pay for that, son. When do I charge and when don't I charge?
Tom, that's a tough question, man. It depends on how you want to make money and where you want to make money. I mean, look, a lot of my show, the reason I do it is for due diligence. Like, I've bought companies on my show before. If I like all the numbers they give me, I made an offer and bought them live. I just did this with a food truck here outside my place. I walked up randomly, wrote a check, did a deal. I recorded it all on Facebook Live on my Facebook page at Nathan Latka. It got over 1 million views. So it depends on how you want to make money.
I love it. Now the way, okay, so you're strong in every medium. You're not as strong on Instagram. Why?
Instagram is just I am actually very strong on Instagram. You just don't know I'm strong. So Nathan Latka, my personal thing is not strong, but I own a network of Instagram accounts with about 10 million followers altogether.
Okay, so you're behind the scenes guy. Did you ever bang a groupie yet?
Have I ever what?
Banged a groupie yet? Have a groupie?
Oh my God. It's like, I wasn't sure if you said been in a Facebook group or banged in a group.
No. Banged a groupie yet?
No.
Okay. But I'm assuming you get a lot of thirst mail, right?
Nathan Latka is a podcast thirst trap.
I love it. All right. So, one last question. I asked you to come on the show. You're a smart guy. You Googled me probably or checked something out, and I appreciate that. What was the deciding factor to say, hey, it's worth it, or hey, it's not, to come on the show?
I actually didn't do any of that, but the way you pitched me via email, I knew you were a listener. I knew you oozed over me, so I knew it was going to be favorable for me to come on. I knew I was going to be able to return and ask you questions where you're basically selling my show to your own audience by me saying, why do you listen to my show? And so that's why I came on.
Love it. So as a fellow podcaster, if I can say that because you're the guru, what questions do you have for me before we conclude?
Dude, I already worked them all in, man. That's how good I am.
Sweet. I love it, brother. NathanLatka.com, top podcast, which is frankly the top podcast in the world. Nathan,
if you Google that, it's kind of cool, Tom. If you Google the top podcast on Google, guess who I come up? It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's great. Was that an SEO play to begin with? Or
yes.
I love it. You know what's interesting, though? Believe it or not, self-praise historically for the SEO world didn't work as well over the long run, but you fucking aced it. So I props to that. You know what I mean?
Because people, as the podcast world grows, one of the first searches a new podcast listener might do is Google the top podcast.
True. And then you got it early and then it grew. So Nathan Latka, multimillionaire, never touch a groupie. We'll maybe boost this if I get enough traffic, and we'll keep in touch with the New Theory audience because he's just a great guy. Nathan, thank you for your time, and good luck with the rest of your podcast life.
Tom, you're provocative. You're a wizard. Thank you for reaching out. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, brother.